So glad you're able to join us today here on the Word of Encouragement here on this Tuesday. Today we're going to go to Romans chapter 4, and here's one of the great doctrinal chapters of the Word of God as we look at the glory of our justification, being declared righteous because of the finished work of Christ. And we have very clear declaration of what Christ has done for us and what that means for us. And in chapter 4, very clearly stated, we're not saved by works, we are saved by faith. Abraham and then David are given as examples of that important truth. And then there's one of the blessed passages. The term blessed is used in what we call the Beatitudes, and we find it in a number of different places where the state of blessing belongs to a Christian that is doing such and such. And God's desire is to bless us. You find that back in Psalm 1, the prologue to the Psaltery, the Psalms. Blessed is the man. It is God's will to bless us. It is God's desire to bless us. And we need to remember, if we're going to stay encouraged, the reality of what our salvation means. Every believer needs to stay rejoicing. And that's what I want us to see from verses 7 and 8, saying, "Blessed are they whose iniquities are forgiven and whose sins are covered. Blessed is the man to whom the Lord will not impute sin." That's being blessed on steroids. To think that God will not impute to us our sin, but instead he gives us his righteousness. We are forgiven through the finished work of Jesus Christ. That is the most glorious reality of all. As we look at a world that's groaning under the curse, as we look at people that are trying to find happiness and destroying their lives in the process, as we see leaders intoxicated with their own pride and ruling the different facets of the world all around the world, and we see the heartache that's causing so many people, and on we could go, the terrible addictions, the ruthless ambitions of so many. As we look at all of that, then look at where we are. Blessed is the man to whom the Lord will not impute sin. We aren't under the weight of sin. We are not under the penalty of sin. When we die, we will go to be with the Lord in heaven. And even now, the Lord doesn't impute sin to us. Instead, he imputes the righteousness of Christ. And we can have the power to live out the righteousness of Christ, for we have Christ in us. And so there really ought not be any day for a believer that's a bad day. Now, I know some days just aren't good. Feel the best. It's a cloudy, rainy, snowy, miserable day. Nothing worse than 36 degrees and rain. I mean, that's sometimes somewhat common. And it's just a dark day and things haven't gone well. But every one of us are blessed. God isn't imputing to us our sin, and we have the potential for that very day to have victory over sin, to live as a conqueror. We can live with great peace and joy in our lives because of the fruit of the Spirit, and on I could go. And so we need to make the decision to see our life from God's perspective and what is genuinely truth, and that is we are forgiven and we are his children. And what a blessing. And so be encouraged today. You're blessed if you're a believer. And friend, if you're not, you happen to be watching this, trust the Lord. Let him save you today. But oh, blessed is the man to whom God will not impute sin. Let's rejoice in that reality.